Hi, stationery friends, and welcome back to Ginger Peachy Pens. My name is Sarah, and today we are going to unbox a Goulet Pens fountain pen cleaning and maintenance kit. So I told you in a previous video that I recently got a new job, and my dad, Papa Peachy, who many of you have watched the pen review with Papa Peachy, decided to send me a fountain pen maintenance kit. Let's see, it says the Goulet Ultimate Pen Maintenance Kit. So just thought I would open this with you and we can see what's in here. There are some of these things that I do already own. When my dad said that this is what he was sending me, he said, my mom said, she has all this stuff. And so when he told me about it, I said, I do have a lot of the parts of this kit, not all of them. And a lot of mine are getting really worn out. So there are just one or two things in here that will really be duplicates. And I can probably share them back with my mom and dad because, as you well may know, they are fountain pen users as well. So getting in here, let's see, there was paper. I don't know if there's a Tootsie Pop in here. I really hope so. So the first thing I'm pulling out is a toothbrush. Let's see. Goulet feed brush, it says. I actually did not know that this was going to be part of it. I looked at the picture of the kit, but I don't think I even noticed this. So this is not something that I have. I mean, I have toothbrushes, and I have an old toothbrush that I keep around for cleaning certain things, but I really haven't used one for pens before. I mean, just your basic brush. It's got Goulet pen branding on it there, and a little cover on it, which I like. So that is nice. Do I want to keep it in this plastic sleeve? Probably don't need to. Next, we have a little bulb syringe. This is a Medline, actual medical bulb syringe. And I do have actually a brand new one of these that I've just been using for a month or so, maybe. If you are unfamiliar with how to use this to clean your pens, you put water, warm water in it and push it through the feed of your pen. Let's see. Should I demonstrate just for anybody who hasn't seen it before? Quickly. So this is a Pilot Kakuno. When you are cleaning your pen, you can take out your cartridge or converter, put some warm water in this, put it into your pen pretty gently. You don't want to damage anything that's in there, and push water through your feed and it'll come shooting out the nib and the filler hole and clean your pen. It's really fun to watch it with pens with clear grip sections, so you can see all of that ink coming out of there. So let me put this back together really quick. So there's our bulb syringe, same kind that you use for children's ears or noses or your ears, I guess. Okay, next we have a loop. So this is one thing that, like the one that I have, is still going strong because I bought the basic Goulet cleaning kit back in 2015, I want to say. And the loop is something that mine is still working just fine. So I may pass this along to my mom and dad, or if they don't need it, I'll put it aside. I'll do something with it. Trying to get my drawer open over here. So here is my one that I've been using. I have never changed the batteries in it, but that light still comes on. I won't blind you with it. But you can use this, in case you're not sure, to look closely at anything. But generally I use it to see if my the tines of my nib are aligned and if I can see anything amiss with my nib. This is really helpful. It is 10 times magnification loop. So I got a new loop. Up next is a syringe set. So this is something that I do have, but also I can use some more. I did actually recently buy a set of 2 of these for my mom because she had filled her pen with one of the dog's insulin needles. So I gave her some. So this will be nice. I only have 2 since 2015. I've only ever had 2 blunt syringes for my inks and things. And so a lot of times, actually right now, both of those are dirty. They're in my little to clean container. And sometimes you just need a third and a fourth one, so you don't have to clean the first and the second one right now. So those are nice to have. This comes with a little card that says common uses: filling empty ink cartridges and converters, filling eyedropper fountain pens, measuring ink for mixing. Also, putting ink into sample vials, either for sharing with friends or taking them on the go, or to mix with like white lightning or something. And then there's instructions on how to use it. Pretty sure that most of us know how to use something like that. Okay, getting in the bottom here. I think I want to take everything out. Aha, here's my Tootsie Pop. It is fruit punch. I actually think I had a fruit punch one the last time that I ordered from Goulet, and it was kind of weird. I'm used to the normal Tootsie Pop flavors like cherry, orange, grape, and I like them, but fruit punch, like, I like the flavor of fruit punch, but in a Tootsie Pop, it just, something was kind of strange about it, but also delicious. So all right, this is a bottle of the Goulet pen flush. Oh, and I wanted to show you, this is my cutter opener tool. Obviously you can see it's Westcott. I got it from Amazon for, I think, under $4 with free Prime shipping. And if you are like me and you don't love using knives or like box cutters because you feel like you're gonna eventually hurt yourself on accident at some point, I have cut myself way too many times with kitchen knives, just doing normal cooking activities. So I like this because it automatically retracts. And you can take it out and you can turn this thing around. There's a brand new blade on the other side, and you can buy refill blades as well. So I really like this. I also have a little travel size one that's like this big. It's round and it has a magnet on it that can stick on the fridge. It's usually in here. I don't know where it is at the moment. Anyway, if you're looking for something like that, knives make you slightly uncomfortable, then I say look that one up. Here is a bottle of Goulet pen flush. After that aside, this is an 8-ounce bottle. Comes with an ink sample vial, which is hilarious because I have a giant bag of like 75 of these. It has instructions to clean your pen with distilled water, drawing it into the converter and flushing it until the water runs clear. When the water is clear, pour approximately 4 milliliters of flush into the vial. Using the vial, fill the pen with Goulet pen flush and flush, repeating to remove any excess ink from the pen. When clean, fill and flush with clean water to remove any residue. So, I have successfully cleaned my pens for a long time with just water, just tap water. Don't tell the fountain pen authorities. And we do have hard water, but I just use water. But sometimes the ink is stubborn, and I think that this is going to be helpful for those specific times, when you've got certain colors that are harder to wash out and things like that. So I am glad to have this. I have, put it in my cart on the Goulet website and then just been like, I don't really need it, so just have never bought it. This is a little container of the Goulet pens silicone grease, which is not special silicone grease. I don't think it's just silicone grease, but a little container of silicone grease. I'm not an expert at using silicone grease, but I have used it, you know, multiple times. The main uses for silicone grease, I'm in my experience, are number one, to lubricate a piston in a pen. So, for instance, a Twisby Eco, if you at some point find it hard to turn the piston knob, Twisby Ecos come, and most Twisby pens come with these little bottles of silicone grease. I think this is the same thing, not as a lid. This is the same thing as this. This one might be a little more liquidy, but both are called silicone grease. And you can use like a toothpick and just put a little bit around the edge in here, and it's like using WD-40, on a squeaky door. It makes it move smoother, makes it quit making noise. The other main way that I have seen silicone grease used is for, I'm going to stand up and get a certain pen here, is for turning pens into eyedropper pens. So this is a Franklin Christoph Model 66. And if you take out the converter, you can actually just fill this pen up with ink and put some silicone grease on your threads here and put this back together. Oh, and you also will want to put some silicone grease on these threads right here of the nib. And all it does is it seals up liquids from getting out. So actually, the other silicone grease that I have is this one. And I bought it from an underwater diving store that we have here in town. The guy looked at me real weird when I went in there, and this was all I was looking for, and was like, yeah, I'm using it for fountain pens. And he was like, okay, sure. But they use this underwater to seal up, like tubes that they use to breathe, because that's important, and you need water not to leak in where it's not supposed to be. And so you just use a little silicone grease on a toothpick or on something, and doesn't take much. You don't want to overdo it, because if you get silicone grease in the fins of your feed, it can get in places where it doesn't need to be. You don't want to get it in your nib. You don't want to get it behind your nib, because it'll clog up. It'll stop your ink from flowing to places where it does need to be. So just a tip about silicone grease. I'm kind of coming at this as if I'm talking to people who have not used these kind of things before. So if you have, then you already know this stuff. Okay, this is something I don't have. This is a jewelry care cloth. It says Goulet pens on it. Does it open up? Yeah. Okay, so it has the multiple layers. Rub the surface gently with inner treated cloth. So this has some cleaning stuff on there to loosen tarnish. Buff the surface with the outer cloth to instantly obtain a brilliant shine. For heavily tarnished metal, lightly moisten the surface to be cleaned prior to polishing. Do not use on 24 karat gold, ivory, pearls, opals, coral, lapis, sorry, I don't know how to say it, malachite, and other soft or porous stones. I've heard lapis lazuli, right? So, yeah, that's cool. That's something that I do not have. Did not come with my original kit. But that will be great for some of my, pens, hardwares and things, and any pens with metal parts. And I would assume you could kind of just polish up. I mean, generally just kind of wipe down any pen a little bit with it. So there is that. I know I say there is that all the time. Oh, a sticker! This is a sticker I don't have. I have not had before that I don't have. Look how cute! Oh, little dragon. And a Lamy 2000. I had a wonderful Lamy 2000. Best nib on probably any pen that I've ever had. It had been worked on by Dan Smith. and I sold it. So it was my choice. The only reason is because of the metal grip and the shape of the metal grip, and that I just couldn't hold on to the pen very well, but the nib was wonderful. Here's their little card, and they have taped to it. Okay, two things taped to this, and I will show you mine. These are some brass shims. There are two. There should be one that is thicker than the other, and these are just little sheets of brass, which is kind of weird. Like, I mean, I guess you have aluminum foil, but you just don't think of brass as coming like this. So here's the new ones, and I will show you my very old ones that are about 8 years old are here. And I know you can take some scissors and like cut new corners to give you corners. What these are used for, and I am not an expert at this by any means, but you can use this brass shim to go in between your tines of your pen to either clean something out if you have fibers stuck in there or something. They can also be used to very gently separate your tines to make a pen write wetter. Yeah, and to also kind of clean out the slit that's under there, the channel where the ink flows. So I'm not an expert at using these. I have used them before to clean my tines, and I've also used them very gently to try to make a pen a little wetter, but I do not consider myself to be an expert or very good at that in any way. So one of those things that I'm kind of hesitant. I mean, cleaning the tines is one thing, but adjusting them is not something I'm super comfortable with. All right, so next, here, let me put these away. 17 minutes. Next, this is a Goulet grip. This is something I do have, and I actually don't see where mine is right now, so it's probably good that I have a second one. And all this is not beautiful or exciting, but it's a little piece of rubber. So what this is really great for is if you have a stubborn nib, or a not stubborn nib, to pull your nib and feed out of a pen gently. You don't always just want to use your fingers. Some pens you can, and you can be gentle and pull them out. But to use something like this, you don't want to put your fingers on the sides of your nib and pull, because you can misalign your tines. But on the top and the bottom, and someone's going to tell me I'm doing this wrong, but as gently as you can, just grip that and then pull. And it helps you to, for one, just get a grip on your nib and feed, but also to protect your tines. So that's really the main thing that's used for. It also would be good for like trying to unscrew something that, it's like using one of those can opener rubber things. So anything that you might need a little extra traction, a little extra grip, it's called a Goulet grip. And I have one that belongs in this old sleeve, and I don't know where it is. So I think it might be by the kitchen sink. Keep grabbing that. All right, so the last two things here are some Micromesh and some Mylar paper. These are sealed up in little envelopes, just like they were 8 years ago when I got some of these. So let's see. There's just one in here. Oh, there's just one. I think the first time I bought this, it came with 2 sheets. So this says it is 12,000 grit Micromesh. Here is one of the ones that I have had for a long time. And here's the other one. So what Micromesh is used for is to smooth a nib, to get off any little sharp edges. You want to use it wet, so either with ink or with some water. I learned originally from some popular YouTubers to draw like figure eights with your nib, and I have not been super happy with that all the time. I don't I'm always cautious not to overdo it. And so I wonder sometimes if I don't do it enough. I don't know. I just am not confident in using Micromesh. But then I watched someone else recently, and I could not even tell you who it was, who showed smoothing a nib by just drawing lines. By holding your pen, and I'm not going to do it with this because this nib is great, but by using your Micromesh, starting at a low angle and pulling up like this. So you're drawing a line from a low angle and like this, and you can kind of turn it a little bit to kind of get the sides, but just go one direction, not back and forth, just one direction. And I have used that method on, I think, 2 different nibs and have been pretty satisfied with it. So there's Micromesh, and then that goes in that. This one has something similar. This has Mylar paper. So this is 1.0 micron and 0.3 micron Mylar paper. Obviously the 1.0 is bigger. The 0.3 is going to be the finer polishing last step. You want to use the other side, not the side that's shiny. Use the other side that's matte, and it is basically super, super, super fine sandpaper. It's not sandpaper, but it's super, super fine Micromesh sandpaper smoothing surface. So that is what Mylar paper is. And here are mine. So I think it's about time for a refresh on that. So I am not complaining about some new things. Truthfully, I thought that there might be more than one thing here that I would not keep. And I did buy my mom one of these. The first one I had of these, I had it for almost 8 years. And just this year, it split right here in this little seam. And it was just a little bitty split. It was just a little bitty hole, but just enough that when you squeezed it, the water would shoot out the side. And so for a little while, I used it with my finger covering the hole. And finally, I bought a new one, I think early 2023. And so I know that there will come a day when I will need another one. So I will hang on to this. So here is the Goulet Pens Ultimate Pen Maintenance Kit. Let me know what you think. Do you have one of these kits? Do you use it? What are your favorite parts of it to use? Can you offer me any expertise on using the Mylar paper or the Micromesh? I also have a piece of a paper bag because that can be used a little bit to smooth the nib as well. Again, I'm not an expert here. Like, this is my, what's the word? This is me telling you I'm not an expert. Don't take all my advice on working on your pens because I take no responsibility for what you do. But anyway, do you use these things? Do you like them? What are your favorite parts? And do you have any advice for me? Oh, sorry for hitting the microphone. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed this. Let me know if you plan on picking one of these kits up, and let me know what you'd like to see from me coming up. I think I'm going to do another mystery matchup in a couple of weeks, or maybe next week. It's been since mid-June, so it's been about 2 months since I've done a mystery matchup, which has flown by. I feel like I just did that. So I'm thinking that next. I've got a couple of new pen day videos that I can share with you at some point. So, oh, and I may have another little pen and ink vlog sale coming up. So keep your eyes peeled because I probably won't really announce it. I will just post it when I'm ready to post it. So keep your eyes peeled if you are interested in purchasing anything. So, all right. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.